This episode of Living in Las Vegas is brought to you by Mitch Fulfer of Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, selling homes all across the valley. Thanks, Mitch. Living in Las Vegas starts now.
Why, yes, it does.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome from Las Vegas, Nevada, that groovy little podcast that gives you a true first-person look into what it's like to call Sin City your home. The Living in Las Vegas podcast. That's what I'm talking about, kids. It's coming. Look out. And now your host, a man who clearly needs some kind of introduction, otherwise you wouldn't know who he was.
Singer brother Scott,
Mr. Scott Whitney. Welcome, everybody, to the Living in Las Vegas podcast here on the Vegas Video Network. Yay. Oh, you brought your own crowd. That's fantastic. Hey, by the way, hey, let me congratulate you because you're watching or listening to the longest running podcast about Vegas that actually originates in Vegas, which means that we're not only going to cover what it's like to live here. No, we're going to be talking about adventures downtown and Fremont Street, on the Strip, other cool places here in the Valley. And by the way, if you're a fan, you're a tourist, well, you might be thinking of moving to our fair city. Well, guess what? This show's like your own secret handshake to all things cool and groovy. Now, our free show is live on the first and third Tuesday of each month at 7 o'clock Pacific time at VegasVideoNetwork.com/live. Again, VegasVideoNetwork.com/live. Like my good friend Christina Aguilera says, come on over, baby. Get yourself in the live chat. Look at all those good-looking people right there, all having a good time. I've got Pops and Sam and Ted and all kinds, Mad Chipmunk, all kinds of crazy people hanging out. And guess what? Here's the magic of the live chat. Sure, you get to be part of the show, which is fantastic, but also you get to see some behind the scenes because we start streaming not at 7 o'clock, oh no, 6:45. You get to watch the sausage being made, which sounds fun, doesn't it? And then when the show's done at 8 or so, guess what? Then we go into VVN 2.0, VVN After Dark. We talk a little bit about things that we simply did not want on the record. So come over VegasVideoNetwork.com/live. Hello, I'm Scott Whitney. I'm your host. Konnichiwa, buenas noches, how you doing, hot stuff? I am the founder of the Vegas Video Network, so on behalf of all the shows, thanks for watching. By the way, we have a brand new show coming a week from tonight. Lake Las Vegas Live. Lake Las Vegas Live. Pretty cool, right? They'll be joining us next week. And thanks for watching this show as well. Now, our good friend Pimpin' Wayne's not here today. He's feeling a little under the weather, but do I feel bad about this? Not really. Why? Because I've got this honest, studly dude. I got Keith Thompson hanging out today. Yeah. There he is. And we're going to be talking about music-y stuff and talent stuff and working for the man stuff. Super excited to have Keith. Keith, welcome to the show, my friend.
Glad to be here.
Cheers. For your warm Chardonnay, which I'm quite embarrassed about. But okay. Keith is a giving, warm, kind of supportive guy. He said, no. That's the way you should drink Chardonnay so you can really taste it. That's the way it's done at all the nice wineries. So he tried to make me feel good.
Well, they tell you that that's why, but I kind of think it's because they're too cheap to
refrigerate it. So
that's a theory.
That's fantastic. So we're going to be talking about a couple things, like how do you launch a show on the Las Vegas Strip? Now, Keith has been doing this all over the place. He's also been involved with some really big-time shows here as well. So we're going to dive into what Keith's been up to here. How long have you been in Vegas?
14 years.
14 years, okay. So we're going to start with the show that you're wearing right now. Actually, can we see it on your shirt? Yeah, there it is. The Cocktail Cabaret,
that's correct.
Party starts here.
Yep.
So first of all, tell everybody where it is,
okay,
when it is, and what it is.
Okay, the Cocktail Cabaret runs Wednesday through Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. at Cleopatra's Barge in Caesar's Palace.
Okay, now, Who does it feature? Who are the people who are hanging out in this here show of yours?
Well, you see, according to that graphic, it's from my
Left to right.
Is Daniel Emmett, Nikki Scalera, that's Philip Fortenberry, who is the music director, pianist of the show, and then Marin Wade and Eric Jordan Young. But we have many rotating special guests who come in.
A ton.
Yeah. So you never know who you might see.
Right. Okay. So what is your role in all of this?
I'm the director, I'm the producer, I'm the arranger. I put the show together. It was my idea. I did a lot of that stuff with Philip Fortenberry because he was, my musical muse.
Right.
And we worked on some of the arrangements together. But
he just came back from China, didn't he?
3 whole weeks, 14
What's up
cities
with
in
that?
China. He got booked to play Broadway music
Crazy.
in China. I know, and he's such a wonderful pianist.
Yeah, he's fantastic. Okay, so you're director, producer. Mm-hmm. I remember when we went there. So I went there on Saturday. Melissa and I went there on Saturday to check this out. Had VIP seats. Paid for it, was happy to do that, wanted to, actually give back to these folks. What a fun show.
Isn't it great?
What a fun show. I thought it was the quintessential Vegas show.
Well, when we were putting it together, the whole idea, we came up with a concept that we were, I don't know if I didn't live here then, but the word was always that in Vegas, back in the day, the lounges were where it was at.
Yeah.
And in the lounges, you could go and you could see a show. You could see, like celebrities, even the big celebrities were working in the lounges.
Right.
And so we said, Vintage Vegas is back. We worked a lot on that concept, bringing back Vintage Vegas, but we don't do like the old Rat Pack stuff. That's not what we're really about.
Right.
We're really more about maybe modern standards reinvented.
Yeah.
Our music is not new,
No.
but it's not as old as like going back to like the
It wasn't
swing era.
Right.
We have plenty of pop songs,
Yep.
some original material,
Yeah.
which I wrote all the original material that's in the show, and but there's like 3 original songs.
And this guy here, let me go find him again. This guy here is kind of plays the part of your MC-ish.
Well, that night he did. He's only been on 3 times.
Is that right?
That's Randall Keith. Yeah.
Randall Keith.
Yeah.
Was he the Baz guy?
He was in Bass.
I thought so.
He was also in Spamalot and Phantom.
Yeah.
He's one of the Fat Pack guys.
Okay. Oh, yes.
He's got an extraordinary voice.
So the songs that he was singing were your songs that you wrote.
No, he sang the opening number is my song.
Okay.
And then every other song that he sings is just an arrangement that I've done.
Okay. So this was your idea. By yourself, you were drinking some warm Chardonnay one day, and what happened?
Well, kind of. This guy named Gene Lubis, who is what was an entertainment director at Caesars, and now he's a creative consultant. He's a Broadway guy, like I am. We came here from New York.
Okay.
Worked on Broadway as a dancer, actually. And so he was here in town, and we were working on the possibility of bringing a big show that would have music and dance in it. And so we had already started looking at some talent.
Okay.
And the money was supposed to come through, and then it didn't come through, and then we were waiting, and finally we said, we've got all this great talent, these people who live here,
right?
And they're not working.
Yeah.
So why don't we put together something small that we could put in one of the lounges? And
it's kind of a nice motivation.
Yeah, feature this enormously talented friends of ours
right.
who we've been looking at. And so I put together 4 people who kind of magically came together.
So there was no audition process?
It wasn't an audition for this show specifically. We were auditioning for that other concept. We were seeing people. So it wasn't like you were auditioning for a show that was going to start production. We were just doing some investigation.
So when you were doing this investigation, when you were talking to all these guys, because musicians out here are hungry.
Yes.
As a practice, they're all dancing as fast as they can, trying to find the next gig.
Yes.
So when Keith Thompson says, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing a show,"
yes,
I'm imagining you got some attention to that.
Oh, of course we did.
And like numbers, you have 4 people in this who are up front, plus what, 4 or 5 band folks.
4, yeah. So 8 total.
How many folks, when they heard that you were going to be doing something, how many people did you see when you went through this? And this show wasn't the show yet.
No,
You were
wasn't
looking
a
at
show
something
yet.
else.
We probably saw about 20 or 30 people.
Okay.
Just- yeah. Jersey Boys was going to be closing. The Jubilee was closing.
Oh, so this was a long time ago.
Yeah. Well,
When did
2
Jersey
years,
Boys
2
close?
years
2
ago.
years ago.
Yeah.
So the genesis of this happened 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I didn't have
And it
any
took us-
idea.
And we've been running for about, 8-9 months now?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it took us about a year from
No shit.
the actual start of when we came up with this concept. And the concept...
But it had to change. I mean, you started bigger, then it
Right.
got smaller.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
At what point did you say the big thing isn't going to happen because of funding or venue or whatever the hell it is?
well, after waiting around for a while and...
So basically, the money didn't come,
Right.
and you're like, hell with this.
Yes.
Let's find something else.
Exactly.
Let's do something else, I should say.
So if you want to know how you put together a show in Las Vegas,
I do.
first of all, money is important.
Yeah.
And while we were putting this concept together, some angels came into my life who said, we would like to give you some money to make whatever you want to do. And I was like,
That's neat.
I know, isn't that wonderful?
Yeah.
They were literally like angels.
Right.
And they came into my life and helped set up the original fund. Okay, so the fund was not really big enough. I should have probably had like 2.5 times as much money as I had.
Now, can you talk about how much? I'm going to ask you later
Okay.
how much money you need to promote a show like this.
I would say
Later.
even a show as teeny as ours, I can give you a
Okay.
ballpark.
Yeah.
I mean, our show is small,
Yeah.
right?
And you say small because of venue or small because of?
Both. It's only 8 people, so 4 singers
Right.
and 4 musicians.
Right.
So that's pretty small.
Yeah.
In a room that seats 150 people.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So
It's a pretty cool room, by the way.
it is a very cool room, and it's iconic.
Yeah.
But so you try to put together those numbers, and they don't really completely work. So how much are we going to sell tickets for? And in Vegas,
Which was an interesting thing because this was a ticketed thing.
Ticketed event.
Which is new at Cabaret Jazz. I'm sorry,
Cleopatra's Barge.
at Cleopatra's Barge because, for instance, Perico was doing it for free. I think Zoe Bowie was there for a while doing it for free. I think most people were doing free there,
But
yeah?
now they're doing like 2 and 3 drink minimums for Perico.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, because the whole point
Yeah.
is
To drink.
re-entertainment, so that the casino makes the bar.
Right.
Right. So we've never participated in the bar. So for a while,
Well, most musicians don't.
Right.
Most producers don't. When you mean by participate, tell people what you mean by that.
the revenue from the bar.
Yeah, you get none of it.
None of it.
And that's pretty much across the board in Vegas.
Yeah.
Nobody gets the bar.
Right, but if we were doing, there's a way to construct it so that, say, the show were for free, like Perico,
Yeah.
and they were paying us, we could maybe come up with some kind of a deal where, maybe we would get, a percentage, 5% of the bar or something like
Yeah.
that, or, a small percent.
Right.
But that didn't happen.
Right. I've never heard it ever happening for anybody. Have you heard of somebody who gets part of the bar?
No.
Yeah, I've never heard it.
Well, there are some presenters who, like, I think over at the Windows showroom, they leased that room to these people.
Yeah, that's right.
And so they ran the room, and the bar was theirs.
It was the people who were leasing the room because
Yes.
they were leasing it and then bringing in talent. That's what's
sure.
happening in that room right now, right? Yeah. So, but it's now their bar because they basically bought it. They basically four-walled it from Bally's.
Yes.
is what they're doing.
Yeah.
And four-wall means
Well, four-wall means that you take all the risk,
Right.
And you go in, and if you don't make your nut that week,
You're out.
Caesar's charging you.
Yeah, right.
Or they're kicking you out.
that's right.
And so that's basically our deal.
Yeah.
And
Well, it is a four-wall deal.
It was.
Oh, it was. Oh, so it's okay. Okay, let's back up.
All right.
All right. So your part, the guy who you were talking with, whose name again was what?
Gene Lubis.
Gene.
He's
So-
a creative consultant for Caesar's.
So
Entertainment.
Gene, and was it because of Gene that you're in that venue? Did you look at other venues?
He was instrumental because of his relationship with Caesar's.
Right.
We were looking. Yeah, we were talking to people and looking around. But
Can you tell me where you were looking else? Because that's a pretty unique room.
no, we were looking. We were still on Caesar's properties, but we were looking at different rooms. Originally, we were looking at a completely different space.
Yeah.
And then when we went into the pitch meeting, that's another thing that you have to do.
Yeah.
Is you have to convince them that you have an idea.
So you're pitching to the entertainment director?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a guy, his name is Damian Costa, who's over there. He's got a lot of vision. Yeah. And directs the whole.
And can I just, because I want to hear about the pitch. This is going to be important to me. But it seems to me that Caesars, and specifically that property, has opened up their kimono to local musicians again. Like, remember, it was the Matt Gossi room for a while, and during that time, was there a lot of local bands playing there?
I don't know. I didn't really have my fingers on the pulse of
I didn't think there was. Ted might know this. Hey, in the live chat, Ted, if you know, were local bands playing in that room when Gossi was playing there? I'd be interested in knowing that. But it seems that once Gossi left, they said, well, shit, let's, because I thought they were going to change it into a bingo room or something like that, and then Perico got in and those guys, and they're like, hey, wait a minute, this might be something for us.
There's a great music scene going on over there right now. Yeah.
But kind of reminded me of like what Tuscany is doing because they really embrace local bands, and I thought these guys were kind of like, hey, maybe we should do this. We do have, like you mentioned, a shitload of talent here. We do. Holy crap. Okay, so you checked out some other deals. You have to do a pitch. Yes. Now, you go in there, you and Gene, or just you?
No, it was me, Philip, my musical partner. Right. Gene did come. But he wouldn't have had to because I was pretty much doing the pitch. Yeah. We had to learn to do something called a pitch deck.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That's super normal for those of us in business.
You would think so. And we really said, you're going to have a pitch deck, right? And we said, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Excuse me.
Right. Google pitch deck.
What's a pitch deck? Yeah.
Slides. Yeah. Did you find Guy Kawasaki and the 10, 20, 30 rule?
Exactly. So we figured that out. So we got like a guy who's like one of the best in the business to put together a really, really wonderful pitch deck for us. Yeah. And that helped because the pitch deck was very attractive. Yeah. And it really showed the show off in the way of what it could be. And it was Damien and his vision. And he looked at it and he said, wait a minute. This show should be in the Cleopatra's Barge. So
because you weren't pitching it for a venue, you were just pitching it
to whatever venue.
What you got?
And we had in mind another venue that was just like.
Can you tell me that venue?
I'd rather not because I don't want it to look like but it's one of the venues that had not really come to fruition yet. It looked like it was going to be happening. So we said, let's get on the ground floor of that.
Got it.
And then he had the vision. He thought we had the kind of upscale feel that would look over at Caesars, and that's quite a compliment.
So in a pitch deck, normally part of what you talk about is the problem you solve. Yes. So this is interesting to me, and I didn't know you were going to go here, and I'm pretty excited that you are. Okay. I think one of the reasons why most musicians in Vegas are starving to death is because they don't have the business acumen to argue what they do. They don't know what problem they solve. Right. And so if you're doing a pitch deck, slide 3 typically is, here's the problem we solve. What'd you say?
Here's what we provide for. So it's like, where do you go to get your evening started before you go out, before you go to your show or your dinner, or where do you bring your clients to see something,
nice.
Before you go for your big evening out. Yeah. And we provided something, it's called the Cocktail Cabaret because it celebrates the cocktail hour. And the idea was that we glamorize cocktails and we go back to the time of vintage Vegas and in the show there would be specific references to cocktails and inviting the audience to have another round, that kind of thing. Right. So that was kind of where we were solving that problem, which is something, and there was nothing like that in Vegas. There were no, if there was a 5 o'clock or a 4 o'clock show, it was a magic show or a female impersonator show or something like that. It wasn't what we do, which is let's get ourselves in the right mood. Now,
in the live chat, Ozzy Dave, we have somebody from Deb who's in Australia right now watching, as a matter of fact. She wants to know, did I miss how much Keith had to invest to get the show off the ground?
I probably don't want to tell you that, but I will tell you this, how much I should have had.
Yeah.
To go into this again, to try to do it again, I really think you need at least $200,000 to $250,000.
Now, so I've talked to a number of producers here over the course of my time with the network, and I've heard them tell me that if you're not willing to spend somewhere on the average of $20,000 to $40,000 a week
yes,
on promotion,
marketing is the big one.
You're probably going to starve. You're probably going to starve or die on the vine.
Yep.
Do you agree with that?
I do.
Okay. So I don't ask you, like if we had some people who say, oh yeah, shit, it's this much and it's this much. I don't need you to tell me that. But you're saying that you were underfunded, you believe.
I think that we could have been better funded, but with the fact that we were funded at all was remarkable. And what I always say, we were the little show that could,
right.
You know, because we were gifted every time we turned around, like with an amazing pitch deck that we paid very, very little for.
Right.
We got a fantastic logo that we were able to, that really branded our show.
Yep.
We got a wonderful photographer who took all those photos that you saw in the graphic.
That one there?
Yeah. Who cut us an amazing break, right? And she's just so talented. So every time we turned around, we were getting these great deals. I got a lawyer who literally, because she was a friend of the wife of a friend of mine,
right?
And she said, because you're like family, so every time I turned around, like God was like, like here's another little blessing for you.
Right.
So we ended up maybe coming out so much farther ahead on the little money we had, and we were making it, right. And so we had a couple of small investors who jumped in along the way, and
And how does that work for them? So they invest.
Well,
so is this a profitable show? How do you?
Anytime you invest in theater, which
Right.
is what we consider
You're
ourselves,
fucked.
yeah, you invest knowing that it's a high risk venture,
Yeah.
and that there's a probability you probably won't make your money back, but
Right.
there's a possibility that you will.
Right.
And if it does hit, more than likely you'll make it back on if you tour or if you sell merchandise or things like that.
Yeah.
That's where you're never going to make it back on ticket sales.
Right.
Off of a little venue like this. And no, they go into that with their eyes open. But they want to help, and they want to be a part of this process because they got excited about what they saw.
So you're four-walling this deal. No, you initially were four-walling
Right.
it.
And
did
so-
something change?
Yeah, something
What changed?
What changed was we were pretty much out of money. And so when you're out of money, you close.
Right.
Right? So I was ready to do that. I was ready to say this was wonderful, and we had so much great press, and everybody loved the show so much. And Caesars came back to us and said, we love your show, and we don't want you to go away.
Wow.
So how can we do something about this?
So you told them, hey, we're out.
So we worked out a deal.
And how long into the show's life did you reach that point?
We were right about 6 months.
Okay.
And so they came back and they, without getting into the specifics of what kind of a deal, they agreed to help.
Yeah. Okay.
So they threw us a lifeline.
That's nice.
And because of that, we continue to run. And still, you never know from week to week.
Right.
Because they just have a little more risk in the game. They're helping us with marketing.
Yeah.
So
are they branding you like within their properties now? Is that kind of thing happening?
More so, yeah. They always were a little bit.
Oh, were they? Even though you're for a while, they don't have to as
No,
a
they
practice.
don't have to. They don't have to. But because we were at Cleopatra's Barge, we got residual branding. They were promoting the barge and what was going on in the barge.
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
happened to be going on in the
Yeah,
barge.
right.
So we got that.
Right.
Now they're giving us a little bit more focus because they know they want to help us sell tickets so that we can survive.
Now, the majority of your ticket buyers come from where?
Well, originally it was mostly locals.
Yeah.
I mean, like because of we were all
because
known,
of you guys.
We're local people.
Right.
They were known by the locals, and as it's come more and more, people would come to town and hear about this show, and so we're getting a lot of people who are Googling us online and looking for cabaret, or they're looking for a lounge show or vintage Vegas. We get those kind of things.
So let me just tell you
come
that
up.
you're doing something that I appreciate, because so I've been to a lot of shows here locally that, my God, they pitched TripAdvisor like it was crack cocaine and they can't get enough. Oh, please give us a nice review on TripAdvisor. Oh, please say nice things about us on Yelp. You don't say shit about that in that show.
No, we don't.
And I like that.
Well,
It's nice to not have to hear a pitch every. I mean, there was one show, I forget which one. Well, it doesn't matter. I won't bring it up. They must. I think. Oh, I'll tell you offline. I'll tell you in Vegas Video Network after dark. They probably said it 3 times in the show. 3 times.
Yeah.
Go to TripAdvisor. Don't forget this. They had cards and all that. I mean, I don't mind that, but holy shit, man! How about just
we're a presence on TripAdvisor. We're a presence on Yelp. Because we just would be, right?
Yeah, right.
But then you have no control over what people say,
right?
And it's you just have to kind of like ride that out. And I don't know. I don't know enough to know if those are the things that
are bringing people in.
Yeah, I don't know.
What if you had all the money in the world for this show? What would you do?
I would market it a lot more. I just put more into not even. I mean, we put a lot into social media as it is.
Yeah. Like paid social media or just hustle?
A little of both.
Social, yeah,
a little of both. I mean, we do a lot of just free posting.
Yeah.
And we do boosting. We have somebody who's working with us on social media marketing.
Right. Jimmy wants to know how we met.
Me and you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Kelly Clinton. Remember you did Talk Tales?
Yes,
and,
that's right. You were a guest on Talk Tales.
Yeah, and I sang Chardonnay.
That's right. That's right. Which you'd have thought I remember that when I offered you a nice Pinot Noir or whatever.
Pinot Noir? No, I sang Chardonnay.
I make one mistake. I'm never going to hear the end of it again. Jesus, that's Christ. So mostly you'd be doing outbound marketing to help just draw more people in.
Yes, and I would also.
Like you wouldn't add to the band, you wouldn't add to the talent, you wouldn't do that kind of stuff.
No, I think that we're kind of like, for where we are, the perfect little size. If we were to expand, like maybe into a bigger room, somewhere like a 300-seat room or 500-seat room or something like that.
I think that room's perfect for you guys.
I do too. The intimacy of it, the way that you feel like you're a part of it.
Yeah.
But it also, I mean, we've done a couple of little presentations whenever we first started out on, like down at, Anthem, Sun City Anthem.
Yeah.
And
you have?
Yeah, we did that like for an afternoon thing because we were trying to get
people to know
audience,
you.
right.
Sure, right.
And it worked on a proscenium stage, and it worked like a charm.
What's that? What's that stage?
Proscenium.
What's that?
It's a stage that has like a proper stage.
Oh, okay.
You're not going into the house.
Right.
Like what we do at the Cleopatra's Barge is we're all over the room.
Yeah, right.
You're singing. You're like, wow.
How long did rehearsal take? So you get the show. You've got it. It's called Cocktail Cabaret. You've got your 4 people who of 20, and you bring them in. You bring the band in.
Yeah.
And now what?
We did all the musical rehearsals in my living room.
Okay, which is what you normally do.
Right.
That's kind of a thing.
Yeah. And then we did a couple of staging rehearsals. There's a music store here in town that has an upstairs room that rented us the room. It was like a rehearsal space.
Right.
For a great price.
And did you map it out so it was the same dimensions of the?
Kind of. We kind of said
Cleopatra
there's a ramp
Barge.
over here. There's a ramp over there. There's a back part.
There's water there. Don't fall in.
Right. But we only did that for like 2 days.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And then we came into the barge and we only had like 2 rehearsals with sound and lights, and that was it.
Yeah.
And
great sound and lights in that room too.
Aren't they? Once again, we did not.
Again, boy, it's hard to get good lights. You happen to work in the 2 best rooms with lighting in the whole goddamn town.
Gifted by the fact that the guys who were in that room, the tech guys, rather than going out and spending a whole bunch of money on designers, like lighting design, and all that kind of stuff, we literally, they said, oh yeah, we can do it.
Yeah.
And so those beautiful lights in that room.
Yeah.
Mike Dembski is the lighting guy. He's a tech guy. He did those lights, and he's.
Who's the guy who does lights for Cabaret Jazz?
That's Stephen Mack.
That's right.
Magnificent.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Good guy. They're both doing good work.
Oh yeah,
I don't think people realize.
What can I tell you?
I don't think people realize how important lighting is. And I became more aware of that when I started shooting video of people performing. Holy crap. If the lighting is crap, I can't fix crap.
That's right.
It's super, super important. So a couple weeks, you're saying, of rehearsal?
Well, not even. I mean, it was a couple of days.
A couple of days of rehearsal. I'm sorry.
In the space. And then we...
and you go.
Yep. Because our people were... I mean, they're pros. They're just... They knew what they were doing.
So did you write out music? Because you're that guy.
Yeah,
the writing
I'm
out
the guy
music
who
guy.
writes it out.
And go, there you go.
We have a
read
score.
that shit.
Which means that if the bass player can't be there one night, another guy comes in,
Right.
sits down, and reads it.
Mm-hmm. And now when you wrote the music, did you write the music so that it highlighted the guys who you knew who were going to be in the band? I mean, I'm sorry, who were going to be the 4 people? Did you write it because you know Daniel is this kind of a guy who's also on America's Got Talent tonight, by the way. He's a finalist. Did you write songs or did you put in songs because you knew he was going to be your primary cat for that job and you wanted him to do those songs? Yeah,
we worked a lot on those things. We each person was treated, in a very what's going to make this person look the best and sound the best, and how do we take this enormous talent and draw it out in such a way that the talent just keeps coming at you.
Right.
That's one of the most amazing things about the show.
Right.
Is how there's not barely a moment where you're not going, wow.
Yeah, these guys can blow, as the kids say. I've noticed that you've had a lot of male substitutes. Do you have any female substitutes?
Yeah, we do. Matter of fact, we're going to have one tomorrow night.
Oh, that's right. I saw that.
Yeah.
How do you decide? Okay, so Travis Clower played when I was there, and I asked you off camera what I want to know now. How long did he have to get ready for that part? Because he's singing a number of songs. He's also hitting marks, not just on the stage, but in the middle of the audience. And 3 different points, you've got people rolling in on him. How does that work?
Well, once again, you're talking about somebody who's used to...
Yeah, he's the shit.
Yeah, to being a professional.
Yeah.
So I one rehearsal with him in my house for music, and there's something called Dropbox, which is fantastic. So I can take the sheet music and little MP3s of things I record for him.
Right.
He can learn his show on his own.
Yeah.
He's out of town on a cruise ship or something. He comes back. He knows all the material. And then I take him into the venue once, and I walk him through where you go here, you go there, you change clothes
by
here.
himself.
Yeah, you take off your coat here.
Yeah.
And then right before the show that night, he goes in. We get the cast to come in a little bit early, and we run down just the things that he needs to be with. So he steps on stage. He's never heard himself on the mic with the other singers. So it's a little startling.
That's the shit. Yeah, right.
But he pulls it out.
And the same thing with Randall, right? He had that was his first time playing there as well.
Yep.
So we watched. So 2 of the people were first times there.
You saw Travis's 3rd night and Randall's 2nd.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Man, you wouldn't know.
I know.
That's fantastic. All right, this went. I could talk to you for another hour on this show, but we got to move on here a little bit. All right, Composer Showcase. This is what before this is what I kind of knew you for.
Yes.
Was this fantastic concept where you get people, musicians primarily from the Strip, who come in late night and just do their own stuff. Tell us a bit about what's going on with the Composer Showcase.
The Composer Showcase started back in 2006 as a little party that we did where some of the writers in town said, hey, let's get together and perform some of our songs and get our friends to sing some of them. And it turned into such a cool hang. And we did it after our shows.
And where did you do it in the beginning?
The
location?
first year was somewhere that no longer exists. It was called Suede. It is now a marijuana dispensary. But it was a little bar. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, keep going, baby.
Okay, so it was a little bar, and we were there for 1 year, only because I said, we did it once, and I said, this is really cool, let's do it again. So we did it a month later, we did it again, and then it got to be a monthly thing. And then after a year of doing that, the Liberace Museum had a cute little cabaret room in their back. So they came to us and said, we love this thing, why don't you do this over at our place? And I said, well, if you can get us booze and food, because, actors and musicians, we need booze and food. And,
them are the rules.
So we worked that out. And so for 3.5 years, we were there. And about 6 months into being there, the press found out about us and started writing about us. And all of a sudden, people started calling me and emailing me. And it's like, oh, my son is a
wants
writer.
To do.
And so we got a lot of attention
at the Liberace place. How big a room was that?
It's about 95 seats or something like that.
Right.
And so we were
tight.
We were spilling over into the into the hallway.
Okay, right.
So then they closed.
Right.
It is now defunct, that particular museum.
Right.
So we had to find another home. So for about 1.5 years, we heard the Smith Center was coming.
Yeah.
And I'd already been spoken to by the powers that be there, that when it happens, there's going to be a cabaret room, and your composer showcase would work real well there.
Wow, yeah.
So I knew going in that was going to happen. I just had to stay alive for
that long,
a year and a half.
A year and a half, okay.
So we did. A guy named Will Adamson came into my life, and he was a entrepreneurial theatrical producer, had his own theater company, and he helped me find places where we could do this until...
So you're just kind of rolling around until Cabaret Jazz.
A couple of different venues. And
yeah, okay.
Jazz opened, and we went right in, and we've been there ever since. So, and it's turned into such a wonderful thing. The platform or the idea is that we provide a platform or a way for writers to be heard, to be,
because what's the motivation for them? So I mean, so my guess is I do the same show every day on the Strip. It's not my own music. Boy, I sure like to do my own stuff.
There's a little bit of that.
Is that?
Yeah, that's a lot of it. A lot of it is that I'm a writer, and I know where am I going to do my original stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, so even if they're like, just musicians playing and singing in a band or something, they're probably not doing their original stuff.
Right.
And if they're writers, especially the ones who are people, we have a lot of people who actually write shows, literally write theatrical pieces.
I've seen a couple of that. Like, here's the second act, first song, boom.
Yeah, and it's a great way for people to try out a new song and see how audience responds to it. Does it work?
Yeah.
Do people get it?
Yeah.
I do that myself.
It's also a perfect venue for you.
Oh yeah.
you eat the stage up all day on this thing, right? You got to be having the best time in your life.
I don't know what that is.
Come on.
I mean, I never did that in my life, but I always get to do the opening number.
Yeah.
So something that I've written.
Right.
And I get to perform, and then I get to introduce everybody else.
Have you done Chardonnay?
Oh, several times. Just to make sure, and just in case you didn't
myself,
know that I like
just
Chardonnay.
Try to make myself feel bad for that. So, has anybody gotten a deal because of that?
I don't know if you could call it an actual deal because of that. Let me tell you what has happened because of it. There's a writer here in town named Richard Oberacher who used the showcase for what it's for, meaning developing his material. Right. He was writing a new show, and then he would take videos from the show that we would do, and he put together like a kind of a reel. Yeah. Right? And he was able to get producers interested in his show using this as a
jumping off point.
Yeah,
basically.
Kind of a demo reel. Yeah. And then he went to New York, and his show ran on Broadway.
Really?
For like, it was,
wow.
And that's there's actually a movie version of it. It's called Bandstand.
Last question I'm going to ask about Composer Showcase. I imagine that you're at Cabaret Jazz, 200 and some odd people. It's a beautiful venue, arguably the nicest venue in Las Vegas of that size.
I think so.
Sound and lighting wise.
Classy. Fantastic.
Nothing even close to it. I imagine every once in a while you get somebody who reaches out to you and go, "Hey Keith, you probably don't know this, but I'm a hell of a guitar player, or I have a great song." Yeah. How do you decide who gets on that stage?
That is
because it seems not competitive, but it seems like you don't have a problem filling time. Is that fair?
That's fair. Because of the lateness of the hour, I limit the number of songs that can be performed, and I do this out of courtesy to the Smith Center and the staff there, because they don't want to go into overtime. They don't want to be there till 3 a.m.
Right.
So we go 10:30 to about 12:15. Yep. Try to really call it about then. Yep. Sometimes it runs over, and I feel bad about it, but people don't seem to mind because it's such an amazing experience. All this original material. But the how do I decide? How do I vet?
Yeah.
It's not an open mic, and I make that clear from the beginning. If you go to my website, it says we are not an open mic.
Yeah.
We carefully screen the writers because we're at the Smith Center, they've come to expect
a certain level of talent.
Yes, exactly. So I'm careful. I mean, like if somebody is just maybe not ready to be on the Composer Showcase stage, I never mean or anything, but I'll say like, why don't we look at finding a time for you whenever we'll find the right showcase for you.
Yeah. So I recommended somebody to you, and she got on.
Yeah.
And she was completely thrilled that happened. What was the process for somebody you don't know? You didn't know her.
Right. I listened to her material.
So she gave you a video or a tape or something.
They contact me online, and they send me either a link to their SoundCloud or a Dropbox or email me an MP3. Or maybe their website.
So so it's basically a blind interview. I mean, you're listening to it and going, oh, yep, that's pretty good.
That's cool.
That's cool.
Yeah, we can make that happen.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can fit that into my lineup.
And what percentage of those people who do reach out to you don't make the cut?
It's probably not that very many. I mean, really, it's about 5%. And
super low.
Yeah, it's really low.
Holy crap!
I get great writers.
I am shocked.
I know.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Lately, I've had some hit writers.
Really?
I mean, a guy comes. He's new in town, and Michael Peterson is his name. He's had #1 hits in Nashville.
Really?
Written songs for Travis Tritt.
Nashville is the shit.
I know,
man.
and he came to the showcase and he loved it, and I put him on and he sang a couple of his hits.
God, I love Nashville.
I've so like the fact that that caliber of people are now paying attention to us. It's amazing
fantastic
to me.
Do you have any growth potential there? Do you
First of all, I
know I pitched you. We should do a show.
We're finding our way.
Yeah.
I'm a nonprofit now. Finally got the 501c3.
Right.
Which means that I really now my mission.
Jesus Christ, we're 40 minutes in. Son of a bitch.
I know. I talk too much.
Now keep going.
The point is that you can go to the website and contact me, and I can explain to people how if they would like to make donations. It's tax deductible.
Yeah, right.
And I'm setting up a scholarship fund. I'm hoping to start a symposium where we can get established writers to work with young writers. Always trying to figure out what a video concept would be. Whatever I can do to further the exposure.
Yeah.
Of the writers to more than just the 240 people who can cram in that room.
It's a pretty cool deal. We're going to take a quick break to talk about my good friend. Oops, that's not my good friend. Well, it is my good friend, but there's my good friend. There's Mitch Fulfer. We're at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. Hey, did you guys know that 80% of all the realtors out there's about 15,000 in Las Vegas, none of them have ever bought or sold a house, right? That's shocking. Meanwhile, Mitch, it's pucked up. Meanwhile, Mitch, 17 years experience. He's the guy who helped us sell our first house in less than an hour. And he negotiated the house that I'm currently sitting in right now. Listen, you got to go check out Mitch. MitchFulfer.com. It's Mitch, Fulfer.com. Whether you're buying or selling, this is the guy to work with. I could be talking to good old Keith. Come a little closer, Keith. Come closer. Come closer. Closer. There you go.
Okay.
Okay, so I could talk about both of those forever. Let's talk briefly about the Jersey Boys. Is that why you came out here?
No, I was out here already, had been out here for several years before Jersey Boys.
Okay.
I came out with a show called We Will Rock You in 2004.
Oh, you did that show?
Did We Will Rock You.
Okay.
A year later, I did Hairspray.
Oh.
A year after that, I did Producers. And
Holy shit.
Then right after the Producers, Jersey Boys happened.
No kidding.
Yep.
So you came from New York?
Yes.
From there. What was the motivation to come to Vegas? Because New York's kind of like, if you're not in New York.
I'd been in New York for a long, long time.
All right.
And I was touring in order to make a living and live in New York. I had to leave town. I had to go on tour.
I love New York, but I got to go.
Yeah. So while I was out, I got a call from a couple of a general manager, a producer, and a musical contractor who were friends of ours, and Philip Fortenberry, my musical partner, at the same time.
Yeah.
We came in and we were offered. Well, we had offered an audition for We Will Rock You, and I wasn't even going to come because I couldn't imagine living in Las Vegas.
Right.
But
horrible place.
Well,
terrible people.
From New York, I was very cynical.
Right.
And they said, but Queen was going to be here. Brian May and Ryder Taylor,
right.
And the opportunity to meet them.
That's kind of cool.
Audition for them. I just didn't think anything would come of it.
Right.
And they offered us the show on the spot.
Right there.
Right there.
What's the audition for that? What do you do?
Oh, it was a whole grueling day.
What the hell would you do for an audition?
They put together bands, and then we had to learn certain material, and then they put us together in different combinations to see who could play well with each other.
Yeah, sure,
it was a whole long day.
Yeah.
And then I had to go in and audition.
You playing keyboards or piano or both, whatever?
Yeah, keyboards.
Yeah.
Like a piano stuff. But
Right.
And I had to go in for an interview too. I mean, I had to, because as the musical director, to make sure that they thought that I was sane, clean, you know, and knew what I was doing because it was a piece of theater. So it wasn't just rock music.
Right.
So I needed to know how to keep a cast together, how to keep the vocals clean, you know, the things you know about whenever you're
Don't worry about that.
when you do what I do in the musical theater.
Right. So you got that gig?
Yep.
That gig lasted how long?
1 year.
Okay. So, and then you went to where?
Hairspray.
And that lasted for how long?
About 6 months.
It's kind of hard doing big productions.
It was really hard because I was starting to get very frustrated, and it was right after Hairspray closed. So I went to wine school because I thought I'm giving up.
Are you a
sommelier?
Are you a som?
Yeah.
What level som?
Just regular,
Som?
certified. It means that I studied and I got my certificate.
Were you thinking of doing that as a job?
Yeah.
Yeah. yeah. Screw this music nonsense.
Screw the musical stuff. But then...
Daddy wants to get paid.
But right. So, along the way, then other opportunities came. Sometimes you tell the universe, I'm going to do this, and the universe says, no, you're going to do that.
Right.
So that's what happened.
So, and then you landed at Jersey Boys. How long was that show going on?
8 years, 8.5 years.
And you were the the MD there,
Yep.
the musical director there, right? How did you get that deal?
I campaigned for it very hard. I heard it was coming. I knew some people involved in the New York production. I contacted the people I needed to contact, and went to New York on my own nickel. A couple of times I sat in the pit. I learned the book. I got all the cueing.
Right.
And then they put me on in New York to conduct it on Broadway one time. And I did well enough that they said, okay, well, if it ever comes to Vegas, we'll think about you.
You conducted on Broadway.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
There you go.
That's kind of neat.
It was very
Is that
neat.
on your resume?
Well, no, because I only did it once.
Once?
And then whenever they figured
Seems-
out that they were coming, that they
seems
had the
pretty
deal.
good.
Huh?
Seems pretty good.
It was pretty awesome.
I bet.
Yeah. And so they called and said, well, we're coming to Vegas and you're the guy.
Wow.
So, but first we had to go to New York to learn it with the Vegas cast, and we all went to San Francisco, and we were there for like 2 months.
Why?
Because we were doing the New York version, and they wanted to get the San Francisco loves Jersey Boys. It was like you could sell it out if you were to take it there again.
All right.
They just loved it so much. So they knew that they could run it and get it well oiled. And while we were in San Francisco, we took a extra week and did a couple of different versions of it to see how the Vegas version was.
Because you have to create a shorter version for Vegas as a
and
practice
we didn't know
anyways,
how much
right?
shorter it would be, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll work without an intermission, or can we cut this whole section?
Right.
So we did 2 different versions of it, and then the powers that be went, oh, that's me and We Will Rock You.
There's Keith.
That's We Will Rock You.
Oh, that's We Will Rock You? God
Yeah.
damn it. I don't think I have one for Jersey Boys.
You don't, because I was in a pit. I mean, I was in a room
Son of a
backstage.
bitch. I thought I was being very clever.
Oh,
Look at
you
me.
were
I got
very,
myself
very
a fucking
clever.
Facebook.
Yeah, that's off my Facebook page.
I know. I know where I got it. I thought that was...
That's my only rock and roll shot.
Jesus Christ, I
I'm
suck.
really a musical theater geek. But so that's what happened.
Were you surprised that Jersey Boys closed? That was a big room, by the way. But were you surprised that that show closed?
After 8.5 years? No.
No.
I mean,
Well, you were expecting it.
at some point, I knew the show's closed. They
Yeah.
all do. It's closed in New York. Well,
Do you-
now it's running off Broadway.
Now,
but-
we're not going to be able to talk about the last item because we're running out of time.
Okay.
But I do want to ask you this. So you're 8 years in, 8.5 years, whatever. You've been there for a while. You just said, shit, it can't last forever.
Right.
Do you then prepare yourself
try to.
to
It's hard to.
find...
How do you prepare yourself?
Because you're doing, was it 5-6 days a week or
Right.
whatever it is?
So anytime an opportunity came to do something else, like when Idaho happened, I took some time off to go put Idaho in New York for a reading, and then we got a production of it in the Poconos, and then it got picked up to come to the Smith Center.
Right.
I took the
That was
time
neat.
off
Yeah.
to do those things because that had something
A big deal.
future potential.
Yeah.
So you're always looking ahead to what might be next.
Okay.
And then after Jersey Boys, unfortunately, the way that Vegas entertainment system, it's like nothing's coming. So what do we do? Hey, let's put together our own show.
Yeah.
Let's call it the Cocktail Cabaret.
Boom, look at he brought it back around. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for coming.
Sure
Now I'm
thing.
going to put you to work.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a drink. All right, Rudy, it's time for Have a Drink on Me. It's part of the show where we show you a bar or a lounge or a speakeasy or some kind of drinky place, and you guess what that drinky place is. This is brought to you by our good friends over at LasVegasForBeginners.net. Hey, listen, their website has hundreds of ideas for you laid out in an easy-to-find manner. Events are listed by date, giving you the location, the ticket prices, and a link back to the website so you can learn more. Hey, let me just tell you something. I highly recommend their Facebook page. It's not a bunch of bickering nonsense and crap. These guys actually want you to have a good time in Vegas. They are helping you make your next trip to Vegas your best trip to Vegas. Check them out, LasVegasForBeginners.net. Those kids are nice kids. Okay, so here's the deal with this idea, this whole Haddam thing. I'm going to show you a picture, like I said, of a bar, and you guys are going to guess. You're going to send in an email to where, Keith? Keith doesn't know.
I have no idea.
We're going to go to haveadrink@vegasvideonetwork.com again.
See it, yeah.
See, Keith sees it now. Haveadrink@vegasvideonetwork.com, and there's you can win stuff. Now, Keith doesn't know any of this stuff, but I'm going to show Keith. Now, what can you possibly win? Well,
What can you win?
here, let's play some fun winning music. Let's play, oh yeah, that one. Well, you can win yourself a Vegas Video Network visor. It fits all in black, just like the color of my heart. Vegas Video Network visor. You know what? Do you like music? Of course you do. Hell, we've been talking about music all day. Well, you could win one of the 3 CDs from your buddy Scott. Christmas Acoustic 2, or Good Jazz-a-thon. It's almost Christmas time, or some acoustic jazz Latin guitar stuff. It's pretty fantastic. Wait a minute, you want to be closer to me. Well, I want to be closer to you as well. And that way, you can get a drink from your buddy Scott. That's right, you come to Vegas or you live in Vegas, I will buy you a drink, but not at the Dorsey, because it's too fucking expensive. Okay, that's it. Now, how do you get chances to get into the Hat of Joy? Well, I'm going to have Pops tell you how to do that. Oh, actually, I did that one. Let's do this one.
Hey kids, Pops here, 5-time Haddam winner. I know what you're thinking.
I think it's 6th time now.
You old fuck. How can one old guy keep winning a contest over and over and over? Well, did you know there's bonus entries available? After you send in your initial qualifying entry email with the correct Haddam answer to haveadrink@vegasvideonetwork.com, you can get bonus entries for being in the live chat during the drawing, or by sending in a video for the Haddam contest, or by doing a video intro for the show, or being quick on the draw and being the first person with a qualifying entry email in to haveadrink@vegasvideonetwork.com. And don't worry, if you're quick on the draw but you jump the shark, if you're wrong when you send in your first answer, you can send in a corrected email. It'll still get entered as long as it comes in time, and we'll just tease you over being wrong the first time. If you win, you're not qualified to win a following week. No back-to-back wins. But it is polite to pop in and say thank you very much to Scott Whitney and the cast and crew at the Living in Las Vegas podcast on the Vegas Video Network.
Thank you, Pops. All right. Now, one magical thing. So Keith doesn't know a lot about what's going on, or he's thinking to himself, what the fuck did I get myself into?
I'm drinking.
Right. Have some of that warm Chardonnay. That's tasty. I like it oaky buttery. What about you?
I like it minerally.
Minerally.
I used to like oaky buttery.
I've never heard it called minerally.
It's French.
Well, I don't get on with the French people. I don't know any French people. Hey, if you do win and then you select one of these visors, magic happens. Here's what happened, Keith. You probably don't know this, but you'll learn. So they take the visor, they put it on their head, like so, and then they go, they could take a picture, and they send that picture to us. And all of a sudden, they get placed in a magical place. You may ask yourself, a magical place? What kind of place would that be? Well, it'd be a place called the Galaxy of Gods. There is Deb and Gregor and Bill and Mr. Testy and Steve and Michael and Robert and Rosary and Scott, and then there's more. There is Vicky and Bob and Alan and Aaron, who are nudists, and Bob and his wife. Then there's Danny, and then there's Shan, not Chan. Wait, there she is. Come on, Shan, there you are, for God's sake. And Craig, and Glimmy, and Jimmy 2Gs, and our friends in Hawaii, and and also Russia. And then there's Who Christina, who's all babies are because of my music, and Don and Jackie. There's Mike, and Pops and Sammy. Everybody is a winner, but there's more. There's Carol and a dog, and Chris, who is dead in my backyard, and Brett, your buddy Scott, and Wayne. Let's not forget our good buddy Brett. All right. This was a tough one. What do you think now? Glad you're here, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, this was arguably our most difficult ever. We normally have 20 plus people. We got 11 entries because this was hard. Here was last episode's Have a Drink on Me, and the answer was Morels over at Palazzo. Morels at Palazzo. Morels at Palazzo. It's a very lovely place. By the way, tableside Bloody Marys, which are fantastic. Okay, here we go. We're going to put Keith to work here. We'll see how he does.
What am I doing?
You're going to write down names if I ask you to do so. Okay, here we go. Our number one entry is Mr. Testy. He gets 1 for the correct answer. Mr. Testy gets 1 more for being in the live chat.
All right.
You're going to fold it in half. Mm-hmm. And he gets 1 more, Mr. Testy, for being the first correct answer. That's a triple already for Mr. Testy. He's got a 100% chance to win. After this one, he will now have a 75% chance to win. Stephen from the UK, who's a big fan of the show. Next, we've got Andy in New Hampshire. Next, we've got Monica Fagan. Next, we've got Samuel Jackson. Pretty cool that we got Samuel Jackson. No, don't write it down. Paul Condor, 954. Phase Jitter, 1 for the correct answer. Phase Jitter.
How do you spell phase?
Phase like out of phase, jitter like I've got the jitters.
Okay.
For being in the live chat.
All right.
And we've got Mike Lazowski. I think Mike's in the live chat. Let me double check on that. Let me double check if Mike is in there. Oh, hell, let's just put him in there. Mike Lazowski, like that. Mm-hmm. Boom. 1 in the live chat. He gets it. Okay. Next, we've got Steve from Nashville. Let's put Keith to more work. Steve writes.
Oh, I have to read something?
Sure.
Okay, he says, I enjoy the show and will be in Las Vegas this week before Halloween. The week before Halloween. I'll be staying in one of the big sleep suites at El Cortez and having the ultimate low roller experience.
Boom.
The last time I was in Vegas, for DEF CON, I was impressed with the Cromwell. The casino is small but has great action and food and entertainment. However, some prices on the strip are out of control.
What?
Getting charged
That's crazy.
$29 for a double Jack on the Rocks and a beer at a House of Blues was the tipping point for me.
How much was that?
$29.
That's stupid.
I know. Non-strip places like South Point, Gold Coast, and Golden Nugget are still an incredible combination of value and quality. But my next visit will be all about getting those Silver Strike tokens, and El Cortez and Four Queens are the only casinos that have them. Compared to the strip, I'll feel like a goddamn big shot.
Bam!
I'll be throwing down so many Lincolns.
Oh my God, you got Idaho-ish just now.
That y'all might as well call me John Wilkes Booth. Thank you, Steve from Knoxville.
Son of a berry picker, way to go. Hey, put in Sam Jackson because he is in the live chat. Thank you, Sam the Wrench. Thanks for bringing that up. You're the man.
Okay.
Boom. Okay. And then we've got Bill 98036, and Bill writes, greetings, gentlemen. As mentioned way back when, we changed our reservation after watching your pool review and moved to the MGM Grand. We agree with you. The place is great. Love that lazy river. We got there early to grab seats and left mid-afternoon when things started to get a bit crazy. Buckets of beer were reasonable, considering the venue. Thanks again for the review. Next time we're going to try Caesars and Mandalay Bay just to compare. How about Morel's French Steakhouse and Bistro for this week's Haddam? You guys made me work for it. Anyways, keep up the good work. Bill. All right. And then finally, Mr. Happy himself, Pops. He's in there. Pops gets 1 for the correct answer. Pops gets 1 for being in the live chat.
That's a name?
Pops.
Just Pops.
Just Pops.
Okay, like the Boston Pops.
Just like the Boston Pops without the Boston party. He's from Florida. And 1 more for providing this video entry. Pops, take it away.
Hey kids, This week's Hat and Bars was one of those high-end places where Pops is just not ever likely to go. But I am going to give Scott credit for having really hard clues and a hard picture to match up. If I'm going to send in a Hatem entry and do a video, I want to make absolutely sure I'm right. That would be kind of stupid to do a video over having the wrong answer. So I've got one entry for having the right answer, and I've got one entry for being in the live chat, and I've got one entry for doing this video. And I'm absolutely sure that our buddy Wayne is right on top of that. Thanks, guys. I need a new visor. I got to win. See ya.
Thank you, Pops. And we took care of you last time. You didn't see it because he was doing it during the actual video running. That was the problem. Okay.
Oh,
You ready?
we got to draw something out of a hat.
Now we're going to have you draw something out of the hat.
Okay.
Musical director. Go.
Drum roll. You have one?
I don't, but I have a... I ain't got shit.
Okay. Here's one.
You think I'd have a drum roll, right?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. The winner is Samuel Jackson, everybody. Sam the Wrench, who's in the live chat. He won because he doubled his pleasure and doubled his fun.
I say so.
Nicely done. All right, let's look at this week's Have a Drink on Me, shall we? La-da-dee. Oops, that's not it. Oh, there it is. Okay. Hit number 1. By the way, if you guys don't get this, you're all going to hell because it's so easy. I made up for last week. Okay, hit number 1. This place was made famous in a movie where John Travolta spent most of his time wearing a cowboy hat. This bar was made famous in a movie where John Travolta spent most of his time wearing a cowboy hat. That there's a horse sound, by the way. You're welcome. Number 2, some of the bar stools there are actually horse saddles. What? How fun is that? Some of the bar stools at that here venue is made of horse saddles. Hell, that's fucking cool. And hit number 3, hey, if you've got $10, this place will throw you from a mechanical bull. If you've got $10, this place will throw you off of a mechanical bull. If you know the name of this here venue, send your email to have a drink at VegasVideoNetwork.com. I'll say have a drink, VegasVideoNetwork.com. There you go. Keith, thank you very much for playing along.
Oh, sure thing.
You'll be okay. Don't worry. Just take a shower when you get home and you'll feel fine. Okay. Hey. I want to thank everybody for playing along with us, of course. You guys are the best in the whole world. Hey, if you want to check us out and want to send us an email, you can do so by sending the email to onairq@livinginlv.com. Again, onairq@livinginlv.com. Hey, if you want to send us a voicemail, you can. Just go to our website. It's a magical website. It's kind of like a unicorn, really, except for that whole, well, never mind. And there's a little tab there, and you can click on the little tab, and you can send your email, and I can't find the fucking graphics, so we're not going to do it. All right. Hey, we're on social media. Go find us. We're on iTunes, and if you're watching us or listening to us on the iTunes, give us a 5-star review. Don't be stingy. Give us that, and then go to Cabaret Jazz and go see that stuff because it's fantastic as well. Hey, we're on YouTube. We're a YouTube partner. We're on Roku. 79,000 accounts have been installed. We're on Stitcher, TuneIn, Chromecast, Apple, Google, Fire TV, Google Play, and of course the Vegas Video Network. Hey, I'm Scott. There's Keith. Thank you so much for playing along here. Thank you again, Keith. You'll be okay. Yeah. I'm sorry for all that I've done to you.
That was fun.
Take care, man.